celebrating Women's Day. So, for that, I would say one thing: I believe in being strong when everything seems to be going wrong. These were the words by Audrey Hepburn, ring true even today also. Women then or now have been consistently shattered by convention and are breaking into the field that have been typically male dominated. Overcoming the many challenges that come their way, they have retained their indomitable spirit and emerged as role models for countless others. On this Women's Day celebration, Women's Achievers celebration, let's take a look at some of the women achievers who have broken records and made the country proud even at a global level. In both private and public spheres, women face occupational segregation and multiple barriers, such as lack of access to land, capital, financial resources, and technology, as well as gender based violence due to cultural mindsets and stereotypes. So, I would request Meena ji to welcome Rittu Shree to say about her journey, about her achievement, and what all we would like to share her experience on this platform of Maven Magic. Over to Meena ji. Meena ji.
Sure. Thank you so much, Nupur ji. Thank you, Shabana ji. Thank you, Maven Platform. It's such an honor to be hosting with you, Nupur. And also very nice to meet so many women achievers, and they're extraordinary by all means. So let me introduce you today's guest. It's Rittu. Rittu Shree is born to make magic in people's life. She's totally passionate about it. That's her life purpose. And she believed in magic all her life. At the age of 19, she worked as a corporate employee, travel and fashion filmmaker. She loved what she did. 15 years later, so I'm presuming 34 years of age, she joined the international training company, which was managing operation, and she was managing operations for North India. During these 30 years, she has trained 100,000, we call it 1 lakh, 100,000 people nationally and internationally. Big achievement. She has given shape and vision and guidance to many leaders, and we all are proud of it. She's proud of it as well. Today, she continues to cause miracles in people's life through art of Vastu and magic of numbers. Causing miracle, what an achievement and what a gain for our audience as well. In a span of 7 years, she has created wonders on 546 properties and changed more than 350 names, individually and for the companies. She's in a committed relationship with Vipin Suri and a true Pakki Dilwali, and a co-parent to her 18-year-old nephew. What a good gesture. She loves music, she loves photography, she loves reading, she loves coaching people, and she also loves watching movies. She's an avid traveler and earns so she can travel. This is my story too, Rituji. So nice to know you. Today's topic is unseen barriers. Unseen barriers, and Rituji is going to elaborate on that and share her experiences with our audience. And this is for you now. You take it over from here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Meena. Thank you for a really sweet introduction. And I also want to thank Nupur for having me on this platform. Definitely want to thank Shabana for getting in touch and giving me this opportunity. It's always great to talk to people, and it's always great to connect with people you know and people you don't even know. And so today's topic is unseen barriers, and it is very fascinating because when I picked the topic, I looked at, so whenever I want to create some topic or discussion, I look at my life. So I looked at my life and I looked at what are barriers, so I thought, what is a barrier? A barrier is something that stops you. A barrier is something that's an obstacle. So, so yes, there are obstacles in life, there are barriers in life. And then I looked at how have I dealt with it, and or what was my reaction, or what did I do to barriers, and what kind of barriers, and how many barriers, and so I was looking at that, and just the fact that the word barrier actually never really occurred to me as a barrier the way we perceive it. And I thought, why? I mean, it's such a common word. It's a word. Actually, just wanted to check. I'm good with English, right? Uh, I'm good speaking in English. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. So I looked at, like barrier is a common word. I mean, it's used in written this thing. It's used in spoken thing. It's so it's everywhere. And I looked at that. If you look at barrier, then the barrier in your life is produced because of ignorance. Like I am not a very good cook. Forget about very good. I'm not a cook. So when I go into the kitchen, I actually deal with a lot of barriers. So I have to struggle with, for some people, it's even natural. For me, it's not even natural to cook. I don't even understand the ingredients of a dish. If, there are some people whom you give a dish to eat, they'll tell you, kya kya usme pada hua hai. I wouldn't be able to figure out if something is wrong with it. I wouldn't be able to tell the cook, okay, this is what's wrong with it. So I looked at it occurred. If I look at barrier, then it definitely occurred to me as a barrier that, okay, I don't experience power. I don't experience flow of life. I don't experience accomplishment. I don't experience success. And then I figured that why I don't experience that is because I am ignorant about that subject. I've never looked at learning about it. Like I was a filmmaker. My first career was a filmmaker. And if, you give me a topic, you just give me a topic, and then words would flow. I would be able to tell a copywriter what to do, what kind of a script I need. I would be able to tell the cameraman what kind of shots I need. I would be able to tell the people whom we are shooting what to do. And I never looked at, I never fumbled on it. And this I'm talking about not in my initial days of filmmaking, but after 4-5 years, when I was kind of had enough experience in it, I had learned the technique, I had learned what was needed, and I can say very gladly that for me, the result was very positive. My clients would hardly ask for changes in the edit that I would show them, like that. And then subsequently, when I was even working for this training organization, that is where I really learned the how should I say, the magic word. So if you want to be powerful, and if you want to be someone who doesn't experience barriers as barriers, then what is required is preparation. Now, preparation is something that most people, not most people, but a lot of people kind of want to bypass. So like if you look at this talk itself, I know the whole team has been working on it for many, many days, and anything that turns out to be successful has a lot of preparation. And as the level of preparation that you have is the level of success of that event, or of that project, or of that work, as per the way you want it. And so preparation is something that is most critical. And if you have preparation, you will do the research work, you will have the knowledge that you need, you will have the, you will gain, you will, you will speak to people, you will read about it, you will see what is needed, you'll do the background work on it. And then if something shows up which is not expected, then because of your preparation, it won't occur to you as a barrier. See, when you are driving on the road, and in Delhi, I don't know, we have people from Delhi or from other cities as well. Okay. So if you're driving on the road, sometimes you come across these barriers that the police people have put. Okay. And, you kind of just maneuver your car and you go left and you go right and you kind of go through it, right? You don't think about it. Like when you're driving, you don't think about, oh, a barrier has come. What am I going to do? Because you can see that there is a barrier and you can go past it. And driving and okay, this is what I have to do. I have to avoid it. Sometimes even we even have a cow coming on the road, and for a driver that can occur as a barrier and you could get stopped by it. However, if a cow comes on the road, you'll either brake or you will swerve from the left or the right and go past it. So the barrier as such is a problem only because the word barrier itself, connotes that there is a problem. And that's why you're saying, oh, there is a barrier, because the minute you say there is a barrier, what you're saying really is that I have gotten stopped. Otherwise, anything that is in your way and you go past it does not occur to you as a barrier. Even a life circumstance for that matter. You suddenly have a financial loss, or you have a personal loss, or you have a circumstance that happens which you did not think will happen, right? In that moment, if you are someone who if you can be looking at that incident as a situation or as something that needs to be dealt with, then it doesn't occur to you as a barrier anymore. And if it doesn't occur to you as a barrier, then you can be powerful and successful in the face of that. So if you look at the title today, the other thing in the other word in the title is unseen. And if I look at the word unseen, we are saying that is not seen, that something that that is not happening for you. That's why it's unseen. Okay. Now, the minute we say unseen barrier, and I think there are people in the world who would use that, अरे ये तो मैंने देखा नहीं था, ये तो मैंने सोचा नहीं था, and then use that as the reason why they did not perform or why things didn't work out. And if you really look at it, it is a lack of responsibility in the background of the person that then you actually assign cause to that unseen barrier, because the barrier cannot be unseen. If there is something is a barrier only when you've seen it. Firstly, till you don't see it, it's not a barrier. There are times, I'm going to go back to driving. I mean, I love driving. Like a bird just flashes past your car and you kind of didn't see it also. Sometimes it even happens. Somebody just walks across the road, maybe at a little distance. It doesn't occur to you as a barrier if you have not seen it. A dog goes past the car, right? It doesn't occur to you as a barrier if you've not seen it. So the fact that you're talking of, we are saying when I saw the topic, I just loved the thought of speaking on unseen barriers, because I just, like, for me, it was like, hey, you know what? This is good because it's a commonly thought of thing. However, it does not exist. The unseenness of a barrier does not exist. So that itself is a myth. And if you can get that it's a myth, then you can deal with it from, oh, I don't have to do anything about the unseen barriers. Because whatever is not predicted, or what was not in your um, uh, periphery, and you thought this is not going to happen, and it happens, it is a situation or it's an event that happened. And you will deal with it if you are somebody who has done the preparation work in that aspect. Like, I'll tell you, I can have a lot of barriers in cooking, unseen ones as well. Like, there have been times when I have cooked something, and the whole thing became, what do you call, naughty, and it became lumpy, and it didn't really turn out the way I wanted it to. And when I spoke to my sister-in-law, and she said, oh, this was supposed to be done this way, and I realized that, okay, if I knew how it had to be done, that barrier wouldn't have occurred. So I don't like to use the word advice, but what I would like to say is that if somebody wants to be having a life, or having going through a situation, or going through a circumstance in life powerfully, and you want to go through it smoothly, and you want to go through it like a flow, then what would be powerful is that you do all the preparation. And preparation means you find out what is needed in it, you do the study, you spend time on what needs to be done before you start that project, or before you start that action. So if you do that, for anything, now if you look at sports as well, any sports, every sportsman will do enough preparation. Last night I was watching this movie Creed 3, and this guy Adonis Creed challenges his childhood friend for a match, and it's on boxing, and they so he has retired since 3 years, and for him to go back into the boxing ring, he again had to go back to preparation. 3 years before, he was a champion. He was a world champion in boxing, heavyweight. And now he has challenged his friend who was in jail for 18 years, but who used to regularly maintain himself in the jail. And he had this whole revenge thing for himself. And he manipulates his friend to get him into a competition, which is usually very difficult. In a particular situation, he causes a situation, and he comes in and he beats that guy. He beats that guy so badly, that guy almost loses his life. And then he comes on media and says that my friend is all a fake. The guy who was the champion, the Adonis Creed. So now what I was watching yesterday was that now he has to deal with this guy who's going to be competing with him tomorrow, the next day, or whatever. It wasn't the next day, it was like a few months later. And he had to go back into doing everything. And it was not just the physical exercise, it's not just the fitness that he had to prepare for himself for. His wife worked with him on his mental state. His coach worked with him on his, what are the things that he needs to watch out for. And then while the match is happening, it was like a flow. He was hitting him as well, and the guy was hitting him as well. And so it was going both ways. Okay, so they were equally matched. And the whole match went till the 12th round, which is usually the final round. But what I was looking at was, oh my God, what a timing for me to watch this film, because tomorrow I'm going to be talking about unseen barriers. And it's so obvious that in this Like here, the guy was a winner at the end because he went through all the preparation. And in the moment when his coach also tells him, he says, forget the past. He says, don't think about what has happened. Forget about what is going to be happening later. You be in the now. You be in the now. So when you've done the preparation, then what happens is, in the moment, things come up for you, things occur for you. You kind of work out and say, okay, if this is not working out this way, I can do it this way. Now, all that can happen for you only if you've done the work of preparation. So the powerful access for you to go beyond barriers, firstly, they're not unseen. They might be unseen, but they have to become seen before they become a barrier to you. So you might not have that be in your agenda, or it might not be something that you had anticipated. But it is not unseen when it happens as a barrier. So that is first thing that you have to get. So you can't say, अरे मैंने तो देखा ही नहीं था, अरे मैंने तो सोचा ही नहीं था, ये तो मेरे को लगा ही नहीं कि ऐसे हो सकता है. क्योंकि जब आप प्रिपेयर कर रहे होते हो, when you're preparing yourself completely for anything, you do have to look at all the possible things that can happen, and only then you can walk in and then perform or act or play or whatever it is that you're doing. So I can keep talking about it. I don't know. What I would like is a little bit of an interaction. So if somebody has questions or and I would love for somebody to just kind of cross me out on this and say, hey, I don't think this is what you're saying is right. And I would be game for it. Okay. So, and you can come up with a counter conversation and we could chat.
Great. You worded it very well. So I would like to ask one question, like 2-3 questions.
Sure.
Something about your biggest challenge and how did you overcome it?
Okay. So my biggest challenge in my life has been when I was working. So today I'm a Vastu professional and today I'm a numerologist. And this was 7 years back I started. So before that 7 years, for 3 years in my life, I did not earn any money. Okay, so I left my previous job, and when I left that, so that was my life. Okay, so my life was all about that job and that work that I was participating in, and I had nothing else in my life. My life was consumed by it. So when I left it, I really didn't know what to do. I didn't know what I was good at. I didn't know what I would feel passionate about. So there were these 3 years of my life where I went into, I think, 6 to 7 careers. And I mean careers, like I was working for real estate in 3 years, I'm talking about. Okay. And in those 3 years, by the way, for a year and a half, almost 2 years, I found my own company, which I'll come to. So in a year, I went through some 4-5 options of careers. So I went into real estate. My boyfriend is a real estate expert. So he said, come work with me. We had so many fights together. We said, relationship is more important. Let's leave it. So why don't you do something else? I was an artist manager for 2 artists, and I really worked hard in, doing all the work and everything, but I didn't get paid for it. And it was so funny when I left them and I told them, look, you guys be on your own. I need to earn money. Subsequently, they started getting shows and stuff. So I was like, okay, it didn't work while I was there. Now that I'm out, their career is working. Then I worked with a graphic designer. I worked with an architect. So I went through, various things. And at the end of it, and then I formed this company, which was into events. And I said, let me go back to making films. I know something about it. It'll be good. And when I finished that, when I was in that, me and my friend who were partners, we had 24 amazing projects for films. Okay. And we had done the work, and, all the detailing and everything. And what we kind of didn't realize is that neither of us is a marketing person. So either we get a marketing person in our team, or we just call it, okay, let's quit. And so we decided, ये नहीं चलेगा, इसको बंद कर देते हैं. तो वो बंद कर दिया. And funnily, now she was a filmmaker earlier. Now she's back to making films, which is what we got together for. It didn't work while she and I were working. Finally, I was like totally dejected. Not dejected, but I was like, हो गया. जिंदगी में देख लिया जो देखना था. I've seen success. I've seen, people know me. I have had my fill. I've done what I needed to do, and now I'm not going to do anything. And then one day, so how I got over this state of, actually, so I live with my brother and my sister-in-law. So I don't have to spend money at home. Okay, so I didn't need the money. Outside, I have a boyfriend, so he spends on, when we go out. So he spends on lunches, dinners, whatever we need to spend on, or we're going on a vacation. So I didn't need the money there. And then I have one chotu property and I get rent on it. So I was okay. So financially, even though I was not doing anything, I was not hassled, if you understand what I'm saying. So I said, fine, chalo, chhod do. But that state of chhod do was not a good state for me as a person. So one of my friends one day called me up and he said, but tell me something, what do you wake up for? He said to me, okay, fine, and I was like 48 at that time. So which is not even like, much of an age. So he says, what will you wake up for? And I realized I actually didn't feel like waking up every day. I was like, jitna der tak sote raho, jitna der tak kuch na karo. And then what do you do with yourself the whole day? So at that point of time, I realized that I have to find myself something. And this was around May of 2015. And then my brother said to me, why don't you go do Vastu course? And I was like, are you crazy? Vastu? I mean, I was a logical person. I was a person who would speak science, and you're telling me to go and do Vastu. So, but I did have an interest. So it's not like it was like really off, but I said, I can do Vastu, but I don't see it as a profession, and the fact that the course is so expensive, I don't have the money. So my brother said, okay, do 50%. I'll pay 50%. I said, you will pay 50%. Who will pay the other 50%? Then I told my boyfriend that this is what, Vinay is saying, my brother is saying that I should do. So he said, don't worry, I'll pay you the other 50. So I told both the men, I said, if you paying for my course, even if I turn it into a profession, don't expect me to return this money to you. This is your gift to me. And they both agreed. And then I sat in the course, and it was like the most amazing 4 days of my life. It was like I found what I was looking for. I got that I could make a difference to people's lives, which I'd been doing all these years through conversation. Now I could do the same and better. And I'll tell you why better, because I don't have to deal with people. I don't have to deal with their brains. I don't have to deal with their behavior patterns. I don't have to deal with their actions. By shifting things in the house, I can cause those results for them that has their life be amazing, like that has their life be miraculous. And this happened for me, so I would say how I went past it is by taking action. So while I was in the rut of, okay, I'm done with life, I was doing nothing. I just sat, and I didn't even have conversations with anybody. And it's when my friend kind of just he snapped me out of it, and he said, think. And thinking is also an action, because when I was in the rut, I was doing nothing, believe me. I would be in front of the TV, I would be sleeping, I'd be reading a book, I'd be listening to music. All these are good things, but not like you can't do that all the time. And not for someone like me, So that's what I did.
That was the biggest challenge you overcome regarding your career. That's great. And you are successful in, coming out of that a difficult phase. Now, how do you manage your work-life balance?
Uh, so for me, you know, when I initially started my life, when I'm talking about 19, when I was 19 years old, I worked in a studio. I was in an editing studio, and I was a workaholic. So वर्कaholic मतलब टोटल वर्कaholic, मतलब मुझे और कुछ दिखता ही नहीं था काम के अलावा. And like I loved my work, I was so passionate about it. घर का कोई भी कुछ होता था, मैं अगर मम्मी को बोलूंगी कि आई एम गोना हैंडल दिस, यू कैन बी श्योर कि वो हैंडल नहीं हुआ होगा. कोई भी फैमिली फंक्शन था, पीपल इन माय फैमिली थिंक दैट आई एम वन ऑफ द मोस्ट क्या बोलूं, unsocial, antisocial human being, you know. And my friends started, staying away from me because they knew that even if we invite her for a party or anything, aayegi to hai nahi, you know. So, and that is how I was. And then when I got, I left that studio and I started working on my own. I started making films on my own. I realized that it is my time. Okay, everything that I do is my time. And how do I manage it? So if I have given an agreement to meet a friend, that for me was exactly the same as I've given my word to a client for a meeting. You know, like today's Monday, right? Yeah, yesterday, I had gone for a meeting and I was supposed to come back. No, not yesterday. This was Saturday. Yesterday it was scheduled. So Saturday I'd gone for a meeting and I told my nephew that I'm coming back in 2 hours. Oh, by the way, my nephew's 8 years. He's not 18 years. He's like a little boy. Okay, no issues about it. So he'll always ask me, Bua, so what time will you come back? And I like to tell him what time, and I like to tell him the time that I am going to be back. So I told him it's a very short meeting. I will be back definitely by 6 o'clock in the evening. And 5:45, when I was in the meeting, Vipin, who is my partner, he called me and he says, do you want to meet up? We're going to the club. So I thought that's a nice idea because mera bacha to so jayega. So I said, ki, haan, theek hai, done. So I immediately called up my nephew, you know, and I told him, I said, hey, Aditya, I told you I'm going to be back home, but I'm not going to be back home. I'm meeting Vipin Bhaiya. He calls him Vipin Bhaiya. So it was like, so my agreement to my nephew was as important as my meeting my boyfriend, or as important as my meeting a client. So for me, that is what is important. And when I manage, so even if I have to say, what could be like a personal thing, like suppose I have to take my mom to the dentist. Now that entire activity is the same for me as going and doing vastu for somebody at their house. You know, the importance is the same. Now, once you get the importance for everything in your life the same, everything I mean is everything. Even if, by the way, for me, one of the things that's very important is my time. And my time is when I'm doing anything that I want to do, which could be actually being a couch potato. You know, it could be today, and I also have no phone days. So once in 15 days, and I don't plan it from before, but I just decide today is my no phone day. So then I won't touch the phone. Like the phone wouldn't be anywhere near me. And then people call, I will return everybody's call. Okay, so how I deal with it is that for me, every aspect of my life is important. That's what I do.
Wow, that's great. Very clear demarcation of work and life and what you really want to do. That's so good. Something you would like to share with your audience, your message to audience, what you should, what you want from the, I mean, your life is so, rich with experience. So something you would like to give message to the audience.
If I have to say it in one line, I would say, no matter what your circumstance of life is, remember, life takes care of you. Life always takes care of you. So no matter what you're dealing with, what is happening to you, trust life. No matter how bad it looks, no matter how like unsurmountable it looks, life takes care of you. So when you trust life, then uh, you will take the actions that are needed to be taken. Life will guide you.
Wow, that's so good. And that is the mantra for everyone, that life will guide
Yes.
you, life will solve all the problems. Only you have to be positive about what you are doing.
Yeah.
And you should be passionate about it.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it was a beautiful session and beautiful inside look from your end,
Yeah.
how you faced all the challenges, all the unseen barriers also. So now we open this session for audience to ask questions. If they have any question, please unmute yourself and ask question from Rittu.
Good morning, Rittu.
Good morning.
I am PL, if you remember me.
You are, yes, of course I remember you. How are you, PL?
Fine, thank you, thank you.
Good to see you here.
So I have seen you from the landmark,
Yes.
and now I know how struggles you have faced and how you have overcome. It's
Right.
really inspiring.
Thank you.
I have been seeing you sometimes on the Facebook as well,
Right.
and Vipin as well, I know.
Yes.
So just wanted to say hello to you. Thank you very much. And I have learned what the challenge is. Do you believe in God?
I'm a Shiv Bhakt, but I don't believe in God. I don't know how to say it.
Okay.
I've been visiting all the Jyotirlings right now, but I don't believe in God. I don't know how that sits well with people. I feel that there's a presence, and I believe in that presence.
Wow, that's great.
Thank you. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Pritamji. Meena ji, please share your questions.
Yeah, thank you. I want the other audience also to ask question, but if I have time, I would like to ask you, Rittu.
Sure.
I see your spelling. It says double T. Huh?
Yes.
So you have changed it due to numerology and all? Okay.
Yes, absolutely. I changed it because of numerology. And it was like when I was sitting in the course, I loved my name. If you know anybody from Landmark, they would tell you, I was so particular about my name. I was so particular about the spelling of my name. It was Rittu SHRI, okay? And if anybody wrote it as SHREE, I used to fight with them. कि दिख नहीं रहा name tag पे मेरा नाम लिखा हुआ है. And then I was sitting in the course and I realized that the name is good for me business-wise, but it is not good for me personally. And I was like, I didn't want to change my name. I didn't want to change my name. And then I said to myself, this is exactly what all my clients will go through. Like everybody loves their name. That's what they've been with a big amount of time in their life. And then I did numerology and I said, today, I can't imagine my name to be anything else. It is RITTU.
Okay. My question was pertaining to that only, that I see your name has been changed. But
Yes.
one thing I have realized, because once we are born, the names are given to us by our parents.
Yes.
And, I'll tell you why, because at one point I was taking citizenship of another country and I was given a choice to change my name.
Wow.
And part of me wanted to change, but
Right.
then I said, this is what is given to me by my parents with love energy, nourishment energy, and so many things. And
Right.
even I don't know if the priest was involved in that process, they go through this thing.
Yeah.
And, I just, at that moment, I realized, no, I have my Ashmi as a pen name, but,
Yeah.
I realized this is what their energy was when they brought me in the world. So out of love and respect and regards for them, I chose not to change my name. And, I had a choice and many people were changing. There was one Chinese guy, Donald McDonald. I looked back and I said, he doesn't look Donald McDonald, Mr. Ching. But, just saying that people change. And, if it is that easy, it's so easy for people to just change name and get going and become Raja. So, there are many other factors involved. This is my understanding.
Of course.
And,
Of course, there are many other factors involved. It is like, so the entire Vastu and numerology, it is giving you a stage to perform on. You still have to perform, but you don't have to worry about the stage. You don't have to worry about, oh, यहाँ से रिकटी है, यहाँ से गिर जाएंगे, यहाँ से हिल रहा है. Like you're confident that the stage is solid, so, and you've got that, and that is what Vastu and numerology give you. Maybe another day we could talk about the sciences, it's very, very fascinating.
I'm aware of Chinese Feng Shui also, something along those similar lines, and yin yang energy. People talk about it, and these are ancient scriptures and ancient symbols and all. I'm aware of it, and I'm interested. But do you also give a destiny number or with birth date or alphabets or something? Do you also share that?
I work with that. Yes, I work with that. And according to that, you get what your numbers, what numbers would vibrate well with you. So you cannot change your date of birth, right? You're born with it. So your date of birth gives you a path that your life is going to take. Now, your name number, if it doesn't match, creates obstacles, barriers that we're talking about today. Okay, and and if you have a name number that matches your destiny number, and we call it driver conductor, if it matches that, then you have a chance of a life which is smoother. So it doesn't mean that you won't have to take action, you won't have to perform, you won't have to deal with life. You still have to.
What I'm thinking is, like, I had this name for 64 plus years. Right. And it has worked many times in my favor, sometimes challenging. I call it challenges and situation, not problems, as you rightly rephrased it. So, the same name, same birthday, same this thing, and still it goes through waves and cycle. And it happens to everybody. I mean, including you shared your experiences. So how do we fit in that, this thing? I'm not questioning anybody. I'm just, for the audience sake, just clarification on behalf of them, I'm asking. Like the same name I have been carrying, and I have seen greatest time, I have seen not so good time, I've seen all right time. And that's life, and I was made to, like, we are not tempering with nature's or destiny's call and for our soul. So if you can put some light, throw some light on that, please. Thank you.
So the numerology gives you a platform by giving you a number that gives you a harmony or a balance and matches your date of birth. Okay. Then there is also an aspect called astrology. So I don't know how much if you know anything about astrology. There are time periods in astrology where different planets rule that time. It's like a political party. A different political party is coming, then a different political party is coming, then a different political party is coming. And they have different periods. Like some of them are 20 years long, some of them are 7 years long. So depending on which planet and how that planet is placed in your charts actually gives you your life circumstances. I'll quickly share. When I was doing the astrology course, it was very fascinating because our Guruji told us to study your own life. He says the best way, the one person that you know really well is yourself. So study your own life. So there I was. So all my life, I've thought I'm somebody who's very intelligent. And I was very proud of the fact that I'm very intelligent. I was like almost arrogant to a little extent, not little, but arrogant means all arrogant. Okay, so then I was sitting here studying my Patri, and I saw that the way my planets are placed in my Patri, anybody with that Patri would be intelligent. So, that whole thing of being intelligent just shattered. Then I was looking at, so he asked you to look at your incidents in your life and then go back and check how the planets were. And it is amazing. So one of the things that I took on for myself was my fracture. I had a fracture when I was, I think 21 or something. Okay, and my leg fracture tha, usme tibia alna dono toot gaye the. So it was like a big thing. And I used to drive a bike, and my dad was very against my driving a bike. So I went and looked at my chart. It was eerie for me. You could see the day, okay? You could see whether it was going to be the left leg or the right leg. You could see which part of the leg it is. And all of it was there. And now I don't do predictive astrology because it takes a lot of study, a lot of work. I don't even want to get into it. I'm not so I'm not so much into predictions because I feel all predictions are interpretations. But going back and looking at my chart and looking at what happened, it was like crazy. So what I wanted to say to you was that even though you might have the same name, the planets are working differently, and that's why the ups and downs are happening in your life. And however, the way you would have sailed through the ups and downs would be because of the vibration of your name. So it does make a difference, and I've experienced it myself. I changed my name twice in my life, one by accident because I rebelled against my dad when I was 19. But I got myself a good name. So business-wise, like my whole life turned. I became a highly successful person as far as business is concerned. And then again, I changed when I was 49, I think, 48, 49. I changed again my name. 48.
I have a small question.
Yes, please. Who's that?
My name is Dr. Naveen. I'm a doctor by profession.
Yes, Dr. Naveen.
Suppose say I've got a wrong name and I
Okay.
don't know about all these things. Suppose I've got a wrong number.
Yeah.
How damaging can it be? Can it be so damaging that it can cause me great harm? Or
No.
are these harms just these negative things which happen, just part of life? I mean, today you might not pass an exam, tomorrow you might pass an exam, today you might fall ill, tomorrow you might recover. Are these damages small or are these damages very big?
So
What I'm trying to ask is that, is it required to do all these things?
no, it's not. It's not required.
I mean,
No, it's not required. Not at all. So I wouldn't say that everybody has to change their name. No. There is this. So I've been writing on these Facebook. Vipin asked me, you should let the world know what you're doing. You should let the world know what miracles you're causing. I'm very, very anti social media. So now I'm no longer anti social media. Today's Monday. I have to write my story today. I don't even know what I'm going to write. But then when I started writing, one of my friends called me up and she said, hey, you know what, I've been reading your posts and I want you to come and check out my place, and I don't know whether I can afford you, but I would like to know. So I said, okay, let's meet up. Let's meet up and let me find out, what are you dealing with? So we got on a call. So she said, hey, you know what, by the way, my life's going great and I'm not dealing with anything. I said, then why do you want to get it done? I said, don't bother. If your life is, you're a doctor, people come to you when they have a problem. So the same way people come to us when they have a problem. And I don't recommend, if life's going great, let things be.
Oh, good. Very well explained. Anyone else who have any questions?
In astrology, how much is the logic, science, algorithm, and how much is psychic and intuition gift that one is channeling that? If you can throw some light on it.
If you ask me, anybody can develop intuition. What you call intuition is the result of all the research and the study and the work that you've done. There is, when you're singing, when you sing, you learn sa, re, whatever. I'm not a singer, so I mean, just ignore that, okay? But you kind of go through the notes. I've learned, by the way, I've gone to learn singing many times, at least 3-4 times I started, I couldn't continue. So every time my teacher would just keep me to this only. It used to be sa, re, ga, ga, ma, pa. So just combinations of, I was only doing this, okay? For months, I had only done this. So what you do is, in singing, you first go through your notes. So which is what we call reproduce. Like whatever was said, you just do exactly what your teacher is saying. And then you start doing the same thing like a master. So you sing songs, but you're singing them like you know the song, and there is a certain professionalism in it, right? And then you start to generate your own music. So when you reach the level of generating your own music is what I would call intuition in any of these sciences. So when you've done then the planets start to speak to you. The universe speaks to you, and you get that. So, but it can only happen either. Some people are born intuitive, by the way. My brother is highly intuitive. Like, he'll walk into a property and he will say things that I don't say. I'm not that. I don't do that. I work on a plan. I work it out. I know where the zones are, and then I start to speak. Then the house speaks to me. So some people like me need a lot of work. We need to study. We need to do the research, and then that whole, it's like performers, like dancers, or even sportsmen. You see them, like, because they've done so much work, they don't. I don't know if you watched the match between India and Pakistan, abhi jo World Cup mein hua tha, where Virat Kohli hit those runs in the last 2 overs. Okay, Virat Kohli hit shots that they're not possible. That definitely there was this one sixer which was actually not possible, and he hit it, and he was like, what I call intuition is like being in the zone. Do you understand being in the zone? So it's like when you're in the zone, then the universe speaks to you, and it gets you to do things through you. So that's what I say. And it's all science, by the way. Astrology is pure science. I mean, numerology is pure science, Vastu is pure science. They're all sciences, and it is sad that there are people who kind of use them, to make money, to make short, jaldi wala paisa types, and then they spoil the reputation. So it's sad, but that's the truth.
No, ma'am, science is actually a little different, I think, because science requires a certain kind of objective proof. You have to get the evidence, you have to prove it in front of others.
Yes.
It can't be something where I just predict something and turns out to be true.
No,
I mean,
I firstly, I'm not talking about predictions. I'm talking about Vastu, and I'm talking about astrology and numerology. I'm not talking about predictions. And they're all sciences, and they all can be proved. So it's like, जब चाय बनाते हो, तो चाय में तुमको पत्ती, पानी, दूध और चीनी अगर चाहिए हो तो डालनी होती है, अदरक वदरक डाल सकते हो. तो उसको तुम किस तरीके से डालते हो, कौन सी चीज कब डालते हो, उस पर डिपेंड करता है कि चाय कैसी बनती है. Right?
That is not the thinking which prevails. I mean, science has got, a different thing, and these are different. These are whatever. I mean, grunts, and there is no universal acceptance that this is a science.
It will come. The universal acceptance will come. And it was there initially. It's a lost science. And one of the things that my guru is very, very keen on is actually, he's doing a lot of work to get this awareness amongst people. So,
suppose you say you take Ayurveda, for example, today, there are Swamijis who quote terminologies from allopathy, and they are not even qualified allopathic physicians. They quote terminologies from there, and they try to prove that Ayurveda is, related to that. But unfortunately or fortunately, the way the world looks at it, I'm not saying what is true or what is not true, but the science which is there, is whatever the Western world science which is there, has got a different kind of a connotation. I mean, it's different. I mean, we practice it here also. You like allopathy, which I practice, is got a certain kind of a legal sanctity. But there are so many other things which forms of medicine, which people practice under the garb of allopathy, but there is no legal sanctity to it. I mean, I don't know.
I'm going to ask you a question. Not ask you a question. I'm going to just say something. Do you know that Earth is round was discovered by the Western world in whatever century, 13th, 14th, 15th?
That was done by Galileo.
By Galileo, right? Do you know that Indians knew that right from 5,000 years ago? Do you know that geography in Hindi is called Bhu-Gol? Bhu means Prithvi and Gol means round. Do you know that the Varaha photograph, whenever you see the Varaha pulled the earth out of the water, And if you see any picture and any depiction on any of the temples, old temples and all, you will see that Varaha pulled out the earth, which was round. So Indians knew that from there. So according to the Western world, the prediction is like that. Okay, according to the Western world, the Greeks invented the days of the week. Okay, however, it was actually according to astrology. Usme 8 peher hote. I mean, I can talk about this like a lot, but I know that
No,
we
no,
have.
I understand that. I mean, there are so
Yeah.
many other sciences which were discovered here. Mathematics was there, Ayur, but
Yeah. So the thing is that a lot of that knowledge was not um, uh, received. It was not written by anybody. It was received from the universe. The Saptarishis received that information. So you don't necessarily need to go through the scientific tools of the Western world for us to say that that is science. So and I'm not questioning your upset with the Ayurveda doctor, because, and I don't even know about the Ayurveda doctor. I don't know about you. I don't know about the two things together, but I know that it's possible that sometimes people misuse information to just get their thing going. I'm not for that at all. But if you are an expert in your field, and if you've done the study and done the research, and then you go practice it, it's great. Please go, charge whatever you want. But if you're just doing a hogwash and you're trying to manipulate people to just earn some fast money, I don't recommend that. So, I mean, I don't know from what background the Ayurveda person is speaking.
Wow. That's so great, Rittu. And we had a lovely session with you. And so many things you have explained, from unseen barrier to Vastu to numerology. And all the questions were well answered. We are very grateful to you for giving us some time from your busy schedule. Thank you very much. And thank you all the audience for participating and asking questions which were very much unseen by Rittu. She was more focused on other things, but it was like unseen barrier which she has really overcome it here also. So it's really very interesting. And thank you, Meenaji. Thank you, all the audience. And thank you, Shabana, for making this possible on Amazing Maven Magic. We are very grateful to Maven Magic also for bringing you here and experiencing so many different unseen barriers. Thank you very much.
Rittu, Shree,
Thank
thank
you.